Well, welcome to Fight Week. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I feel good. Feels good to be here.
So you have a new opponent, though. What's Fight Week been like since you got the new name, and how has the adjustments been made?
Uh, it was a really long camp, getting ready for a certain type of fighter, and then for that to be flipped completely 180. Some things had to change, but not too much. I have to, I have to do my job still and stick to the game plan and the new wrinkles that I've been working on. So.
Was there a period of time where you thought maybe you wouldn't have a fight at all, or was it he's out, he's in right away?
No, there was like a 2-day period where, nothing was said, and you got to remember there was a fight in Abu Dhabi, so my manager was over there, so it was just some miscommunications, I guess, and it was like 2 days, and I didn't know if I was gonna have a fight.
Do you keep training during that 2 days? I probably know your answer, but
Yeah, of course, that was also the other part that's kind of like weird. It's like, man, I still got to go through all this hell, and I don't even know if it's for certain.
So tell me the thoughts when you got the name. Were you just happy to have an opponent, or were you happy that it was this person?
I'm happy to have an opponent, man, because I think 1 or 2 days later it probably would have got scratched, and it already got pushed back a week before that. So, yeah, I was excited. He stepped up, and at this point it doesn't matter who it is.
What do you know about him?
I don't want to butcher his name, so Quang I believe is his name. Okay. 8-0, very young in the sport, but he's got talent. He's got a good right hand. So don't know much about him. He comes from other organizations. He's been working his way up, but he gets the call, so we get to see what he's about.
How do you prepare for a guy like that, where you don't probably have a lot of highlights, you don't know a lot about him?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How do you prepare for a fight like that, where you don't really know what to expect, because he doesn't have a lot of highlights? He hasn't been in the UFC yet.
Yeah, it's a fight. You know what I mean? It's 1-2s, kicks, takedowns. It's kind of all the same. I just believe in my training and what I'm doing and what I'm capable of. That's how I prepare.
So he described you as having sneaky skills, and I think he meant that in a good way. What do you think of that? What do you?
I didn't hear what you said.
He said sneaky. He just described you as sneaky, like having sneaky kicks, sneaky punches.
All right.
You like
I like
that?
it.
Yeah.
I guess, you kind of got to be sneaky in this sport. You can't just stay in front of someone. Usually it doesn't end up well for you. So, yeah, I can take it as a compliment.
Do you ever think about, when you're getting these names, that you're the one that has a lot to lose? This person's coming in, it's his debut. People aren't expecting a lot from him. Does that cause you a little bit of hesitation? Is that fun pressure? What do you feel when people say that?
No, I'm sorry, to be honest, I was completely out of it on that one.
I'm just wondering, when people say, he's coming in and he has nothing to lose, and you have everything to lose because you're already here, you have a position you need to hold. He's coming in brand new, short notice. If he loses, he can say, well,
He was supposed to lose, right?
Right.
Yeah, I guess, it is a win-lose in a way. I'm supposed to win, but that's not always the case. So I got to go out there and still do a job. I got to go out there and perform and put them away, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. I'm still in this. I'm still one of the top ranked fighters in this division. My last fight didn't go according to plan, but that's okay. I took on the number 7th ranked guy when no one would answer the phone call. And I had just fought previous after that, so I was still going into that fight camp already hurt. Yeah, my name carries some weight to it, and I'm going to show that improvement on Saturday.
And last thing for me, he predicted a first-round knockout. What do you think of that?
He predicts a first-round knockout, so do I. So we're going to have fun.
Thank you.
Chris, I know you've been around the game for a while, so what are your thoughts on the positive and negative mental factors of being an undefeated fighter?
There is pressure. There is pressure. You want to keep that O. It's everyone's, no one wants to lose. No one, everyone hates to lose. So there is a lot of pressure in that. So he's got to carry that. I got a couple losses. I know what it feels like to be on the other side, but I also know what it feels like to bounce back. I've done it multiple times, and I plan to do it Saturday again as well.
And just in my personal opinion, it felt like there was a little bit of nervous energy with him. So looking back on your UFC debut, what was that jump like going from LFA and then fighting in the UFC?
For people that say it's not, there is. It's you finally get to the, you finally get into the cage and you look down and you see those 3 letters, and then it kind of hits you. You're like, shit, man. Like, I was just watching this last week. Now I'm actually here. Now people are watching me. So it is a pressure. How you handle it, everyone is different. We get to see how he handles that.
And last one for me, building off that, how about the same jump skill-wise? Fighting some good guys on the regional scene, and now you go to the UFC, let's say, you fight someone that's 1-3 in the UFC, and you're like, whoa, this is better than anyone I think I've fought in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth to that. But again, I believe everybody handles things differently. So the thing is with him, let's see how he handles it,
And actually, one more for me. Do you think that facing a guy like this, UFC debut, undefeated, like we talked about, it is one of those things where as the fight goes on that you'll be able to kind of pickle away a little bit at his confidence, make him second-guess himself?
I mean, I was planning to do that no matter what. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one quick one. I know you had experience in the LFA. Here's this guy come with the LFA. A lot of times people look at a fighter and they're like, well, he never fought in the UFC, so he must never been tested. What did you think about when you came over to the UFC and you had some tough fights in LFA and you had some other ones? Do you think people would be discounting fighters coming in for the first time when they see that they've never fought at the UFC before?
To each their own, right? Like me, I was different. I don't, just because he's coming from LFA, I am not looking at this fight like I'm going to obliterate this guy because he has not fought any UFC caliber fighters. I don't think like that. To me, he's a world champion. He's been in the UFC for a while. That's the way my mind thinks. I have to prepare for these fights like I'm fighting a world champion. Otherwise, you underestimate him, and oftentimes that doesn't lead to good things.
And with that, if you're training to fight the world champion, it doesn't really matter if it's a short notice or who's opposite of the cage because you're training for the best possible person ever out there.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, yeah. In your mind, you create so many versions of the guy that he's the best everywhere. So it causes you to grow in a little bit and expand and try to pursue different things and just try to grow as well. You're fighting the best fighters in the world in your mind, so you got to train for yourself to be the best fighter you can be.
And we talked with some fighters earlier today about, there's always that nervousness. No matter how much experience you have on Fight Night, there's always going to be some sort of bit of nervousness. Fight Night, when does that go away for you? When does that switch? Is it when you're in the cage? Is it when you're walking out? When for you do you feel nothing but the fight? Everything else is just quiet.
Once you're walking, once you start walking to the cage, you kind of are, that's when it kind of switches, or even in the back when you start letting them go. But sometimes you're still nervous. But usually when that cage closes, it's like, all right, we got to go. I'm here, so.
Does your walkout music pump you up? Do you choose your song for a particular reason, or is it you're so zoned out you don't even hear the music playing?
No, I choose that song for a reason. I like it. It represents me a little bit. So I just like the meaning of it. It's bandolero. It's just someone who gets looked down on, like he's a bad person. But we all make mistakes. We all try to be better. That's what it's all about.
That's awesome. And last, keys to victory. What needs to happen to make sure that you get your arm raised on Saturday?
Need to hit him with some this and some of that, and just that's for you guys to see.
Can't wait. Good luck on Saturday.
You're welcome.